Welcome to Truckee Talks, and yes, I am your host, Maia Schneider, and no, I'm not hiding out of embarrassment because of the last show, the single show, but I am here in costume because Halloween's coming, and we're excited about that. And our show today is about Halloween, what's going on here in town, and some other upcoming activities, easy for me to say. I'd like to welcome back to the show Dan O'Gorman. Dan?
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to have you here, and Dan, of course, is with the Truckee-Donner Recreation and Park District, and Dan, you're here to talk about Halloween.
And especially the haunted house and the not so haunted house.
Now these are really popular attractions, and I'm not sure that folks new in town would understand what's the difference between the haunted house versus the not so haunted house.
Well, the haunted house has been in existence for at least 20 years at the rec department, and it is developed over the years into the scary haunted house, and it's the one most of the kids are 6, 7 years and older. 6-year-olds, the real brave 6-year-olds can make it through, and the 7-year-olds. So about 7 or 8 years ago, we started a not-so-haunted house for the little younger kids, and it's been real popular. So we're able to cater to the kids all the way from the infants just starting out to the adults.
Now last year you have a theme every year with the Not So Haunted House, and last year was Candyland. Was that last year or 2 years ago now?
Let's see, I believe that was last year.
But
if I remember Candyland. This year's theme, and the Not So Haunted House is put on by the Truckee-Donner Rec and Park District staff, specifically our after-school program, and this year's theme is Cartoon Land. And so we're going to have, and that actually it's going to vary from Blue's Clues to 101 Dalmatians to Winnie the Pooh, Little Mermaid,
really
and a few different
stuff.
rooms. So it'll be something that the kids can kind of prepare for this by watching some cartoons.
Okay, we're going to mention the times and dates a couple of times throughout the know now, when are the haunted houses taking place?
They are the 25th and 26th of October. We always do it the Thursday and Friday before Halloween.
Okay.
So it's the 25th and 26th of October from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
And that's for both the haunted house?
Both of them. We recommend parents can start getting in line as early as 6 o'clock because there does get to be a line.
These are
for
popular.
Both of them. Right.
Now with the not so haunted house, does the child, you're talking about young kids, do they need to be escorted by a parent or guardian, or how does that work?
They can go. We have, and you'll see in some of the pictures, we do have guides that take the kids through in groups. Parents are welcome to go. It is $3 for both parents, and it's $3 for parents, $3 for children.
Okay.
So, but they get a lot of special goodies with this trip too. They get the trip through the Not So Haunted House. They get candy, which is donated by the Truckee Optimist Club when they exit. They get apples donated by the Truckee Lions Club when they exit, and they get free face painting too.
Oh, fun.
So
now the haunted house, who puts that on?
Well, for my first 18 years in Truckee, it was put on by the Truckee-Donner Rec and Park District, and since last year it's been put on by the bulk of the work is done. It's staffed, and the rooms are staffed and decorated and guided by students from Truckee High School, and they get the proceeds from the event.
That's great. So it's a fundraiser for them. They get involved.
Right.
And I can imagine a bunch of high school students really taking it on themselves to make it the scariest house you've ever been through.
Last year was their first year, and the reports were that it was the scariest haunted house ever. So they do a good job.
Well, let's take a look at some of the pictures. I know we have some photographs of haunted houses past, and Dan, if you'll walk us through these are just great shots.
This looks like, I believe, would be some of the face painting as they exit the not so haunted house.
And again, you're seeing kids of all ages.
Right. More face painting. These would be some of the guides that I think we had in our not so haunted. I can tell they're not so scary.
Not so frightening.
Right.
That certainly looks like Candyland.
This was a room in one of the, I think that was a couple of years prior to that. It might. The Not So Haunted House does have a few places where kids have to get down on their knees. This is obviously the haunted house, the little scarier portion. And you can see the teenagers they're into blood and guts. And this is a witch definitely
making
in
her
the
witch's
haunted
brew
house.
there. Oh, these are great shots. It really looks like the people
There's a
putting
staff
it
of the
on.
high school students from a couple years ago.
Well, I can't help but wonder if the high school students aren't having as much fun as the people that are going through the haunted house.
I think once they're a little bit, takes a little prodding to get them involved, but once they're there, they enjoy it. And a lot of these kids, what's rewarding for us to see is a lot of them were 6 and 7-year-olds who didn't make it all the way through, you know, maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and now they're staffing the rooms. And
It's a
putting the haunted
gauntlet of
house.
honor to make it through the haunted house.
Right.
And we're going to talk again about those dates, but Dan, I know the Rec and Park has a couple of other significant events coming up, so let's briefly touch on those.
Yeah, this is the haunted house is the first of our 3 big special events we do every year. Saturday, November 10th is the Truckee Ski Swap, 19th annual Truckee Ski Swap. And then November 30th, December 1st and 2nd is the annual Tiny Tim's Christmas Fair.
And talk a little bit about the Tiny Tim's. That happens at the community center?
That's at the community center. We have, we kind of turn the whole community center into a Christmas village with different vendors coming in and selling their wares. It's a good place to do a lot of your Christmas shopping. We have a lot of entertainment, some food down there.
With Steve Randall in charge, shouldn't it be a Hanukkah village instead of...
Yeah, he's nice enough to let us keep it at Tiny Tim's.
Well, let's go back to the Halloween, because I know that's a lot of fun. A lot of people look forward to that, and I think we have a couple of goblins wandering around the studio here, so we're going to keep our eyes out for that. But just to wrap up, the Halloween Not So Haunted House and Haunted House, tell us again the dates and times for that.
It is the October 25th and 26th. That's a Thursday and Friday before Halloween. And it's from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. both nights.
And we want folks to come in costume.
Come in costume, that's great. The goblins try not to scare kids in costume as much. So,
so if you come in
right,
costume...
yeah, kind of, they're a little safer.
See, that's a good thing to know. I think I'll need to know that on Halloween myself. I don't keep the goblins away. I'll wear a costume.
Yeah, and a lot of the feedback that we have, it's better than any of the haunted houses in Reno. So I think the kids will do a great job.
Will this count to keep away the goblins?
You'll still be scared.
I still need to elaborate. Well, shoot. In any case, maybe it'll keep away other unwanted evil spirits. You mentioned, too, that the little kids may do some crawling around, so their costume should allow them some flexibility while they're in the
Right. There's typically there'll be a few tunnels that they need to go under and things they can climb over. We always make it so that parents have a safe way to get around too. So some of the parents will look at the things and say, I can't crawl through that. So.
Well, that might make for some interesting photographs for next year's show, though, Dan, so I'll count on you to bring us some good
Clogs
shots.
up the work sometimes.
I'm sure that's true. Well, Dan O'Gorman, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
And good luck with the haunted houses.
Thank you so much.
Again, that's the Thursday and Friday just before Halloween at the Community Rec Center down on Church Street, the haunted house and the not so haunted house. I'm sure it's going to be a blast, or maybe it's a hoot. But stay tuned, because I think we've got some goblins in the audience who wanted to come out and say hello, so we'll be right back. Welcome back to Truckee Talks. We're talking about fall events, and of course, one of the year's most highly anticipated events is the Truckee Rotary Cadillac Ball. The Cadillac Ball this year is coming up on Saturday, November 10th, and here to help us talk about the Cadillac Ball is lovely Truckee Rotarian Helen Graham. Helen, nice to have you here on the show.
Thank you, Maia. Fun to be here.
And especially fun because you came in costume, and there's a theme now every year associated with the Cadillac Ball. What's this year's theme?
That's right. This year's theme is USO, which of course is Services Organization, World War II. And we actually chose this theme much earlier than the unfortunate events. However, somewhat appropriate this year. It'll be a very fun theme though, because part of that is a big swing band. And we've all been practicing, learning how to swing dance. And I've had the pleasure of seeing this band, and it was really terrific amount of fun. So everybody should come in costume, and some hints. Andrew's sisters, nurse uniforms, glamorous dresses, high-heeled shoes, whatever you so choose.
And of course it is a ball, and so they're looking for fancy dress, but the theme is a USO affair,
Right.
so they're looking for a specific era, if you will, and,
Right.
and a specific feel.
Exactly. And as I say, it can be glamorous, it can be military uniform, and for the guys that can still actually fit into their military uniform, if they have one from the past, that'd be terrific too.
It would be wonderful, especially to see veterans coming in their uniforms. That would be a wonderful
Yes.
thing. Now, Helen, this is a large event. This is several hundred, up to 500 people or more attend this every year.
You bet.
And I understand that tickets are still available.
They are. Now, there are both some dinner tickets available, and the event is held at the resort at Squaw Creek, which, of course, as many of you know locally, is a great place to be. And but most importantly, there are also raffle tickets available, and the prize, the main raffle prize, is a Subaru car, a Subaru Legacy car that's in partnership with Truckee Rotary and Gold Rush Subaru. And so by buying a raffle ticket, you stand a very good chance of winning a car.
In fact, a 1 in 700 chance.
Chance, and those chances don't get much better.
That's right, and we're not just talking about a car. This is a brand new Subaru Legacy station wagon. It's been on display in various parts of town. It's a dark blue. It's a beautiful car, and of course there are always a lot of prizes associated with the Cadillac Ball, and I think one of the things that the Truckee Rotary Club is looking for are donations of prizes, businesses out there that may be able to support us with a raffle prize.
Absolutely, that's key, because we do have a lot of raffle prizes, and we do look to the local merchants, the local community, to help us with some of these prizes. But when you attend the ball also, your chance of winning some of these prizes is terrific.
That's right, and of course attending is great. Now Helen, we have to show the audience your dress because it's just beautiful. If you would stand up and show the camera your dress.
Well, this is a dress that perhaps would be appropriate for some of you for this kind of a theme, sort of vintage. And there are many places you can go, seeing as vintage clothes are kind of in right now. Many of the second-hand stores have vintage clothes, and would be very appropriate for the Cadillac Ball.
It looks great. Of course, very few women can dress the way you can, Helen, and get away with it, but it looks fabulous. Thank you for showing us that.
You're welcome.
There's a lot to know about the Truckee Rotary, and we can't get into all of that with our limited time, but when people are buying a raffle ticket to the Truckee Rotary Cadillac Ball, they're really supporting all of the things that the Truckee Rotary does throughout the year.
That's probably the most important thing. And for an example, last year at the Cadillac Ball, we netted $75,000, and all of that money, all of the proceeds, go back into the local community. And just to give you an idea of some of the things it goes back into, most important, Legacy Trail Foundation, to Truckee High School, to the grammar school, to the computer labs, to the seniors in town. It's just a light example of all of the community projects that this money is going back into. So it's really important in your support of this that the money is coming back into our local community.
That's right, and really the Truckee Rotary raises upwards of $60,000 a year now with the Cadillac Ball. That money is reinvested directly into our community.
You bet.
And that's a great event. In fact, there are really only 3 fundraisers that the Truckee Rotary has, and this is the largest. But Helen, this isn't just a fundraiser, it's a fundraiser.
Yes. Yes, it's really interesting to see Truckee come out all dressed up and all glamorous, and I often wonder where some of you came from.
Well, they look pretty spiffy when they're all cleaned up.
It really is a fun event. I can't tell you how much fun so many of us have had at this for so many years, and many of us stay at the resort at Squaw Creek overnight. Too much fun.
That's right, and in fact we should mention first of all a big thanks to the resort at Squaw Creek, and they are offering a special room rate for the Legacy Cadillac Ball. If you call the resort at Squaw Creek, at 583-6300 and mention that you're staying for the Cadillac Ball, you get a special room rate that night. It's $115 a night. It's a great room rate, and it's wonderful service, of course, at the resort. Also, it's worth mentioning that Truckee Tahoe Limousine, Mark Monreen, offers limousine service back and forth from Truckee to the Cadillac Ball, and that's super important. If you're going to be imbibing at the Cadillac Ball, and most folks do, please be sure that you either stay at the resort overnight, that you arrange a tour, or arrange a limousine ride or a cab ride. But
absolutely.
We want folks to be responsible because we want them to come back and go to the Cadillac Ball next year as well.
You bet.
You know, a funny piece of interesting history on the Cadillac Ball that a lot of newer folks in town don't know, the Cadillac Ball has been going on, I think, now for 23 years. And it got the name because the first few years they actually gave a Cadillac as the grand prize.
And that's been somewhat confusing. And in actual fact, the name of the ball this year is the Legacy Cadillac Ball.
And that really heightens the awareness for our Truckee River Legacy Foundation, which is an ongoing effort to provide access via trail system on the Truckee River.
Right, and that's really important because this river is our legacy, and it's very much our legacy for all of our children too here in town. And we work very hard to make sure that the river is protected and that trails are built and that everyone in town can have a fabulous enjoyment of that river.
So how do they go and how do they buy a ticket? Here's how. You call Ron Wolf, who is this year's coordinator for the Cadillac Ball, at 587-8720. Again, that's 587-8720, and Ron can give you guidance as to where to buy a raffle ticket or how to get tickets to attend the ball. The tickets to attend are limited and they are selling out quickly. The raffle tickets, we have a total of 700 and they're selling as well, so be sure to contact a local Rotarian or call 587-8720 for more information on the Cadillac Ball and on tickets. Helen, I know you've been especially active in taking the dance lessons for the swing band. Now, the band that's going to be at the Cadillac Ball is a 20-piece band?
It is, and I had the good fortune of seeing them actually at a USO event this year at the hangar at Truckee Airport, and they were absolutely unbelievable. It was one of the most wonderful events I've ever been to. Some of the old planes were there, and the whole ambiance of the whole event was amazing. Yeah. So it's certainly one of the best bands I've seen for a very long time, so I'd encourage everybody to come and dance and have a great time.
Well, and for all the men in the audience, you'll definitely want to ask Helen to dance. She's got the swing dancing down now.
Well, I'm not sure about taking lessons.
Again, for information on the Truckee Rotary Legacy Cadillac Ball, 587-8720. Helen Graham, congratulations on helping to put together this event, and thank you.
Thanks very much, Maia. It's fun to be here.
Been a pleasure having you, and you can tell by Helen's accent that she is a local Truckee, born and raised.
Absolutely.
We'll look forward to seeing you at the Cadillac Ball, or at the Haunted House, or the Not So Haunted House, and we'll see you next time on Truckee Talks.